beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of Daily Living with Dawn. Today, I'm going to be talking about things we do when we go out. Do you like going out? I believe there are days when I like to be out, and sometimes, you're out in a gathering and you're looking for things to talk about. What are the safe topics to talk about when you're out in a gathering? First of all, I'm going to say for you to have a conversation in a gathering, it depends on who you're with. Your flow. Do you enjoy saying everything or anything to the person, or are you going to be a bit reserved because it basically on the company? The first thing I think people should not talk about or should be very careful when they're talking about is politics. Why? Talking about politics can even breed war or disagreement or hatred. Let's say, for example, you meet someone today and you decide to talk about politics. The person might believe in a party and you believe in another party. The person might be a strong believer of one politician and you are totally against the person. At the end of the day, it might cause a fraction in the relationship you're trying to build, meaning that you either have an instant enmity or hatred for the person, or you just believe that you can never trust that person. It happens. So politics is a topic that should be safely considered when you want to talk about it. The next one is religion. Just like politics, talking about religion is a bit careful. It's not a topic you should talk about. Personally, I do not talk about religion. I do not talk about faith. I do not talk about anything because people have their different beliefs. Why? You might say something and the other person believes that what you're saying is totally unacceptable and wrong. At the end of the day, you fracture your friendship or say something silly that doesn't even worth it. But all I say is when you want to talk about politics and religion, it is depending on the company you keep. The next one that we love to talk about is sex. Why? Sex is something that is private. You should not kiss and tell. I don't want to know who you've had sex with. Men do it a lot. Women do it a lot. You go ahead and say, I'm never going to tell anybody we did this. And then the next thing, there's a rumor going around and you find out at the end of the day that it came out from the very same source that said, I'd never talk about it. Sex is not something we should talk about, even though we personally all enjoy talking about it or hearing about someone's dirty laundry. It is unfair to the person, especially if the person has presented themselves in a certain light. So be careful when you're talking about sex. It should depend on the company you keep. Another topic I hate that people talk about outside is personal issues. Come on. If I'm in a social gathering and I'm having a very good conversation, laughing, enjoying myself, and then you start talking about things that are all wrong in your life, I don't want to hear about your complaints. That's the truth. Because I have my personal issues. The person next to you has their personal issues. But you don't hear them complaining and saying, this is not right in my life, this is wrong in my life. You're going to make the conversation boring. I'm sorry, but if you need to talk about your personal problems or issues that you have in your life, do so with close friends and family, not in a social gathering. That is totally unacceptable. The next topic that people talk about that I find a little bit awkward is money. Why? Everybody has their own wealth or their own money they're making or something. The last thing I need to hear in a social gathering is how generous you are or how much of a blessing you are to the less privileged. It's a good thing you're being generous, you're doing charity work, you're helping the next person that doesn't have it. It's a good thing, but don't come out in public and brag about it and talk about it and saying, I'm such a blessing to this person. Especially when you start dropping names, it's very bad on the part of the person you're giving it to, because now you're making the person feel like they're not worth it or you're doing them a favor. Yes, you're doing them a favor or whatever you might call it, but do not tell us the person, because you don't know the way the person has carried themselves. You don't know how they've shown themselves, and then you come and say it in public and bring down the person. It's unfair. So if you want to be generous in your own privacy. Do not bring it outside. I don't want to hear it. The last but not the least is talking about your partners. The person you're married to, the person you're in a relationship with, whoever the person is. Most people come out and say, my partner is this, my partner is heaven sent, my partner is all that. I get it. You have a good relationship. Thank you for informing us. Now, do not tell us. Because sometimes when you go ahead praising your partner, and let's say your partner has this little skeleton in their closet that you do not know about, and we know you're going to look at you as being very silly or stupid. And then if, for instance, there's someone that talks about it and, shades a bad light on your partner, it gets into a fight or something very rowdy, and it gets out of hand sometimes. So no matter how good your partner is, please keep it to yourself. We would like to look from a distance and not hear all about the details. Finally, my best advice on topics to talk about outside your home or in social gathering is, first of all, it depends on the company you keep. If you're very close with the people you're out with, you can totally talk about anything and everything, and it will be cool. If you're meeting someone for the first time, or you're just getting to meet them, like on a few occasions you get to meet them, it's safe to keep the conversation light, interesting, and non-controversial. That way, everybody's going to have a good day. Go home, no fights, no quarrel. Until next time, be good. Please follow me on all social media platforms. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment because I want to hear your views.